And السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. حمدا لرب خصنا بمحمد فأنقذنا به من ظلمة ودياخر فعليه وعلى آله وصحبه الصلاة والسلام. مساء الخير للجميع. مرحبا الساعة حياكم الله. حياكم للجميع، أساتذة، باحثين، طلاب ومهتمين في اليوم الثالث من القمة العربية، the fourth edition of the Arabic Language Summit, which is jointly organized by uh, PG and Research Department of Arabic, MES Mambad College, and one of the vibrant institutions in Kerala, and Uyoon Academy, an online platform with the vision of connecting 1 million hearts with the Arabic language, in collaboration with the esteemed Arabic departments of University of Calicut and Sullamus Salam College. Alhamdulillah, in the last edition, previous edition, the summit highlighted the Arabic Language Summit, which was jointly organized by the Uyoon Academy and MES College, Mambad College, which was highlighted crucial academic and professional opportunities, especially within the Gulf region. And whereas the current edition, we are concentrating on engaging trends in translation, machine AI in the age of AI, as well as errors in the machine translation, the latest trends in the legal, media, and diplomatic translations. Alhamdulillah, today we have a wonderful guest with us to discuss about the language as a diplomatic tool, interpreting multicultural governance. Alhamdulillah, the guest has also joined with us. So I would not like to لا أريد الإطالة عليكم بالكلمات الترحيبية. أرحب الجميع إلى هذه المنصة الافتراضية، وأسأل الله أن يكون هذا اليوم حافلا بالأفكار الملهمة والمناقشات والمداخلات البناءة بإذن الله. اليوم سيتحدث بنا، سيقوم بالمحاضرة السيد الدكتور عزيم أنور خان. He is currently serving as Deputy Director in Simultaneous Interpretation Service at Rajya Sabha Secretariat under the Honorable Parliament of India. So, فليتفضل مشكورا الدكتور عزيم أنور خان للمحاضرة.
Assalamu alaikum, and thank you very much for the introduction. And I think I'm audible. I'm audible
Yeah,
to
yes,
all?
audible,
Okay.
audible, yes.
All right. So to begin with, I'm extremely grateful to PG and Research Department of Arabic, MES Mambad College, and Al Uyoon Academy for providing me this opportunity to be amongst all of you and talk about, the experience that I have acquired over the period of time for the last more than 1 decade. And for the last 7 years into the government, as I have been serving for the last 7 years in the parliament. And I have been asked to speak on the topic language as a diplomatic tool, interpreting in multicultural governance. Well, to begin with, the kind of importance which is being attached to the simultaneous interpretation or the interpretation into different forms like simultaneous interpretation, consecutive interpretation, whisper interpretation. These are the kinds of interpretation that are being employed into different capacities into different conferences, and they are very relevant in the conferences and different programs being organized by the Government of India or the autonomous institution, PSUs, etc. Since I have been working for the last many years, as I mentioned in the beginning, uh, I would like to speak about something which is very, very relevant, not going into any theory at all, so that we can be benefited from this session more and more and as much as possible. As I said, when the last time I was given this opportunity to speak on this platform, I shed light on different facets of the interpretation and what all goes into making an interpretation exercise successful. Interpretation is interpreting or conveying the message or gist from one language to another. It could be any language, from Arabic to English, English to Arabic, Spanish, French, whatever it is. But there are common characteristics, common features which are relevant to all the languages. You learn one language, you learn the nuances of the interpretation. It is relevant for all. You are going to employ the strategies, the methodologies in all the languages. For example, I do the interpretation from Arabic to English, from Arabic to Hindi, Urdu, French. Same thing I am employing. And let it be very clear in the minds of all, interpretation is entirely different thing. It has a lot of dynamics. It is so dynamic in nature that anything can happen when you do the interpretation. It doesn't suffice at all that you know both the languages. The prerequisite is you know both the languages, target and source language, of course, to begin with. There is no question that you have any weakness in terms of, morphology, grammar, usage, etc., lack of vocabs. We are not even keeping that into consideration because it is for granted already that you know both the languages very well. Now comes the technique of the interpretation. What do you do when you are dealing with this profession, when you do this exactly? So there are nuances I would be talking about as we go ahead. What are these nuances which are necessarily to be learned by each and everyone to be able to do the interpretation, right? Of course, not everything can be translated, not everything can be interpreted. This has to be kept in the mind. And as we go through, as we go ahead, I'll also want to make it a kind of, interactive session. I want some participation so that I can ask the questions and go ahead, right? So how many of you or anybody from you has ever gone or attended any conference for doing interpretation? Unmute and answer. Anyone who has done the interpretation. Let it be a learning class, learning session. Anyone from all of you, I can see 53 participants. Anybody has done ever interpretation in any conference, anywhere, even in a local meeting, somebody has come, then you do, the translation or interpretation. Anybody? No one? Okay, all right. So I got the answer, none has. So now you have to be very attentive. Let me tell you, see, there are few things which are very, very easy, very normal. But when we sit inside the booth, see, if the conference is happening, there is always a booth where you have to sit. And then you are provided with mic. Of course, the tools are there. You have to sit and you have to do the interpretation. And I'll tell you something very, very, relevant and very useful, and be attentive kindly. So down the line, if you get the opportunity, of course, these things are going to help you that I'm going to tell you. Very simple thing like greetings. If you are not thorough it, if you are not, well versed with it, if you are not prepared, let me tell you, you will not be able to do the interpretation. Of course, you can do, but you will get stuck. You will start groping about very simple expressions. And the fact that you knew about the expressions and now you are sitting in the booth, you are not able to do the interpretation. This particular thing will make you feel, you know, very jittery. What are you doing? You are inside the booth. The conference has started. The speaker has started speaking and you are not able to speak. For example, hello, ladies and gentlemen, good morning or good evening. We are all here in this. Or somebody from the podium will be saying that I request everyone to keep their mobiles either on a silent mode or switched off. See, these are very simple expressions. But when you switch to Arabic language or whatever language you are speaking in or interpreting in, it becomes very difficult sometimes to say that please come and have seat or come to the front seat or come to the dais. And we have these things in the agenda today. So now you can actually understand, the kind of urgency, the emergency, which is there every time. Is everyone following me?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
sure, sure.
Okay, all right. So these are the basic nuances that I have been talking about. For example, last week only, I had an opportunity to interpret in a conference, One Belt, One Road initiative, Mubadaratul Hizam wa Tariq. These things that I have talked about and spoken of are very, very important actually. You are there, you are sitting, or for example, any conference being organized by the government, right? We have a lot of conferences going on, the different parts of the country. For example, some conferences are already going on in Delhi, right? If any of you is given this opportunity that the interpretation assignment or it is required there in the conference, and if you are willing, you can come. And this much we are paying you. All right. You said you are conversant in both the languages pretty much. You are very much fluent. Again, you are not feeling comfortable. This is the feeling that is there with the interpreter every time unless the whole conference comes to an end. This is the reality. So what I am trying to make the point is that apart from the essential, the skill of knowing both the languages, you have to go beyond that. You have to know the nuances. Interpreting in multicultural governance. We have different ministries, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of Home Affairs, different ministries, defense, etc. Now I being in the parliament, working for the last 7 years, all the ministries are there at one place. How? When the session takes place, there are three sessions: budget session, monsoon session, and the winter session. All the ministries are there. Each ministry is being represented in the parliament, right? Now you can imagine the extent of, the scope of the work. A lawmaker, an MP, rises, stands up and talks about something, related to economy of the country, right? 5 trillion economy, 2030 vision. Then all of a sudden somebody talks about or starts talking about defense, the capabilities, right? Operation Sindoor. Then somebody starts talking about inflation. We have different, the devices like zero hour, question hour, calling attention. Then we have the bills which are being tabled. Okay, on the floor of the house, the bill is being debated. So what I'm trying to say that we have all the domains, multicultural governance. Economy is there, agriculture is there, defense is there, Jal Shakti mission, water is there, waterways are there, shipping is there, port is there, right? Now imagine how much you have to know because you cannot stop. You have to keep pace with the speaker. You cannot miss more than 5 or 10 seconds at max. Now the level of the knowledge, that is required along with the nuances, what is to be missed and what is to be in all the circumstances have to be spoken, right? Of course, if somebody is speaking or reading something from the paper, that will not be possible. But again, because you are the interpreter, you are doing the interpretation, you are there in the booth, you have to do. You are not left with any option, but you have to do it. So multiplicity in all the departments, all the relevant terms. Of course, in the age of AI, and before even that, because of the advent of the internet, it all become possible. We have newspapers. We can read a lot of Arabic newspapers, a lot of English newspapers, all are available. And, based on the need, based on the requirement. And I'll tell you one thing. Uh, Yesterday I joined the session, and legal translation or legal translator, how to become one. It was being discussed, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. So what I'm trying to say, that in translation, you are given certain things, right? A company needs the translation of the whole project in a period of 10 days, 15 days. It is relatively very easy in the age of AI. And the kind of a translation that AI provides will baffle you, will surprise you. Accuracy. And of course, that's why we are talking about like how AI is going to take over the jobs. Do we need to learn the language in the first place or not? These are the questions which are now being, thrown in the age of AI. For the translation, the document is legal. The document relates to something finance, banking. You have got the sufficient time. You have written something, you have prepared the draft, you did the translation, and then you compare it to the original text. Then whatever, shortcomings, whatever were there, you were able to remove them. Then you revise the whole translation. And then on a fine day, when it was expected to be submitted, you submit it to the entity or the company that you have taken the assignment from. But here in interpretation, you don't have any scope at all. You have no space at all. You are not having even time to think of what could be the alternative. Try to understand what I'm trying to say. Okay.
Yeah, okay, sir. Clear.
There was something on the screen actually. So what I was trying to say, that you don't have much time, like when you do interpretation. So therefore you have to be, first of all, updated. Like we say in Hindi, कि वो बहुत पढ़ा लिखा आदमी है. So when you are doing interpretation, when you are in this domain, you don't have to be an educated person, पढ़ा लिखा आदमी. You have to be पढ़ता लिखता आदमी, पढ़ता लिखता person, which means that every day you have to read. Whenever you get the time, you have to read. The speaker switches to finance, whatever terms being used by the speaker, make sure that you know. And if you do not make sure that you know, of course, you are going to fail in your duty, right? And after all, when you do that, and I'm telling you, like last time I even made this statement, try to become an interpreter. You will automatically become a very good translator. If you become a translator, people are appreciating you. You submit the document, translated version of the document to the company. Company will appreciate the quality of the translation that you did. But I'm telling you, even after, having a lot of praises from different entities and the people, you will not be able to become a good interpreter. So therefore, I always say, to have the command over the language, or this technique of, doing different translations in a different way with different flavors. Try to become an interpreter. Try to become master of both the languages. And that's also easy because we are, in this age of the technology, everything is just available on the tip of, the fingers. You just click it and everything is there. You want to read something, it is there. The dictionaries are there. Okay. So hope you have been following me so far, and I have been able to make my point across. Hmm. And this question, which is being asked, even yesterday it was asked about Ad-Dhaka al-Istina'i. See, I would like to present a very, very realistic picture. In terms of the translation, you don't have to ask, right? Whatever particular answer that you are looking for, that an expert should give you, what AI is going to do. Last time I was asked this question, what AI is going to do. Do we really need, because everything is now being translated, everything is now being done. You don't need to learn the techniques of drafting a letter. You give it some prompt, you give it to AI, chat GPT, different perplexity and all. Then the draft is prepared immediately, that you cannot imagine sometime that had I been, I would have taken, a lot of time to prepare such draft with that I have been given by the chat GPT and AI within just 30 seconds and 1 minute. And that all entirely depends on the prompt, the feed that you give. All right. But this, particular domain of interpretation, AI being artificial, is not matching with the emotions that human have. To a great extent, it can, do some damages when it comes to translation. And of course, in all the ministries, there are departments for the official language, for Hindi, because everything is now being translated. Even the judgments, you may have heard and followed the news, judgments of the Supreme Court and High Courts are being translated. And they are trying to make the translation of the judgment available as soon as possible. The efforts have already started. We have 22 official languages in, the Part 8 of the Constitution. And there are also efforts which have been initiated and by the Lok Sabha Parliament of India to make interpretation, the live proceedings of the Lok Sabha available into all 22 languages, including Hindi. And do note it. That's why I said, keep the notebook ready. Bhashini is the app. How many of you have heard about Bhashini? Go to your Google store or app, check it. Bhashini is the app that does good interpretation, that does good translation. And the government of India has invested a lot into this, app, particularly. Of course, for public, different version is available, but the employment of this particular app in the governance, in the government domain is entirely different. And let me tell you one more thing, that G20 happened, the summit happened in India, and then Bhashini was employed. So it now answers the question that is being repeatedly asked about AI. The extent of damage that it is going to do this particular field, right? Transcription is no more a problem or no more a need. Listen to me carefully. When you follow the proceedings of the parliament, the speaker chair is there, or the chair of the chairman in the Rajya Sabha and chair of the speaker in Lok Sabha. You have, the table in front of the chair, just below the chair, where you will see few people are sitting, right? They are noting down something. Even that is not required. Now the government is very serious. It has invested hugely into AI, that all such works and facilities can be replaced. Of course, there will be few people who will be supervising whether things are going right or wrong, just to give a direction. but that particular act or work is being done by AI. Now transcription, of course, with such an accuracy it is being provided, you will be surprised. Any document is there, real-time translation is now available. I have told you all about the Bhashini app. Then the next app is Anuvadini. All right. So replying to the questions regarding the AI, or that may emerge in the minds of, all of you, the participants, regarding the AI. So I'm giving you this picture because yesterday I was there and this question was asked. So that is what is being done in our country. Of course, China is far ahead, but that particular technology is not being employed. We are developing our own version. Sensitive data are there, of course, so we cannot have it. Or to employ it in the government departments, we cannot have anything from outside. So these are the efforts. Now coming to the point whether we need, to learn the translation, how much it is relevant, are we going to get any job, the prospects, etc. It is part of, this session, multicultural governance interpreting. But I'm trying to give you a different perspective about it because the question is being repeatedly asked. Of course, at the end of the day, it will be needed. So far, what I have grasped. We were talking about the emotions. They cannot be, expressed by AI. Sometimes we have the same sentence or expression, but we add different tone to it. That tone decides actually what exactly I want. If I said yes or said yes, of course, that particular word is same, but the connotation changes because of my, the tonality, the tone that is involved there, that has been attached to it, that particular word. So that now is taking time, or sometime you want to snide, or you want to say something in a veiled reference. And that also happens, inside the parliament or inside different government departments. You have dignitaries from outside, from different countries. You don't want to be blunt, you don't want to be very clear in your message, but you want to make a veiled reference to something. That cannot be done by AI. And that is not being done by AI. It is not possible. And had it been that much possible, it would have been implied in the United Nations, right? We have got 6 official languages there. Interpretation is there. Translation is being, done there. And UN Inspire. I'm not sure how many of have you visited this page, particularly of UN, where the vacancies are being, notified. Inspire. You can make your account there. So any vacancy of a translator is being notified there. You will immediately get the update from there.
Inspire.
Inspire. Yes. I'll we'll come to that. Inspira, sorry, not Inspire. It's a Inspira, UN Inspira. You go to this particular site. Before 8 to 9 years, I also made my account there. So what I'm trying to say that recently I got this notification that a translator is required. Of course, they required in different, the geographical locations wherever they need it. But the fact that they are so advanced into using the technology, they are far, far ahead, but still they required a translator. The vacancy is there very much. So that answers the question regarding the AI, what AI has done so far. Forget about our country. Okay. We may not have, done too much so far in this domain because of the reason that I have talked about. Of course, confidentiality is there. But what these developed nations have done so far. So this notification, this particular, UN Inspira, this vacancy confirms the fact that, yes, despite the AI, the fusion of AI, we still need translators, we still need humans, we still need these skills, we still require these qualities, we are still in the need of it. So it should not be there in the mind. Go ahead, do learn the techniques, do try to be good interpreter or good translator. And we have got so many of things, right? You have got AI, you have got, now we have bilingual newspapers, bilingual books, bilingual sites. You know, have access to particular document. We have this, you know, different pages and sites of the United Nations. We have documents, we have annual reports. The same report is being prepared in all the official languages, including Arabic. You want to be a good translator, you can go and access it. You can have the, you know, the comparison, whether your version is good or not. You may do the translation of a one page, then you can compare your translation to that, the page of other report which has been prepared in other languages. So in that way, you can become a good translator. You can understand what it all is required, right? Now, as I said, and I made a statement that try to be a good interpreter first. You will automatically become a good translator, right? So I do believe that the efforts should be directed towards this profession more and more. And of course, at no point of time one should feel dampened at all, whether to learn this or not. I just gave the example of a UN Inspira. You can make your account over there. You can have, you know, the vacancies being notified. And yesterday there was a question, the job market in the Gulf, what all should be done to have access to these jobs in the Gulf or West Asia and North Africa, WANA region. Of course, the possibility is too much. Possibility is there. One must follow it. And in the age of AI, in this age of technological advancement, we have so many things at our disposal we can have. And, you know, a lot of podcasts, a lot of YouTube channels. And let me tell you one more thing. Too much of anything leads to, you know, disaster. This should not be too much. If you are at a stage where you are learning Arabic language, or you feel that you have become pretty comfortable in terms of speaking, in terms of writing, and you want to excel further, stick to 2 or 3 documents. I'm talking about those students and those people who are in the fledgling state and want to excel into the field of a translation. Try to get stuck with 2 or 3, you know, one newspaper, try to read it more and more. It has got all, you know, the categorizations. Sports is there. And then we have, you know, the political news, economic news, different news are there. One newspaper covers all these, you know, the fields at one time. So, of course, you read more and more, and then you have this, you know, the comparison in your mind. You try to match, you try to speak to yourself, you try to do some exercise, then you match it. You can give it to AI, you can give it to ChatGPT to check whether your translation is correct or not. And, you know, the different categories, simple text or, you know, the advanced text, complex text. You want to make the version very simple, catering to the needs of a common people. That can happen, you know, through AI. For an intellectual forum for intellectuals, then the text will be entirely different. So what I'm trying to say, we have all these facilities at our disposal. We can easily use them to the best of our interest, but it should not be much. Yesterday there was question, how much should we rely? See, this reliance is the problem. You should not be too much, because at the end of the day, with the advent of a mobile, we are not able to remember so many numbers. Maybe 2 or 3 numbers we are able to recall. The memory is not being actually employed. It is not being worked on. So that will happen. You will gradually forget how to draft. Instantly you are needed to write something and submit it to something. And then you have reached the stature where you have, you know, the dignity that you are somebody very special. You know, both the languages, or, you know, you are polyglot. And then you write something that is, you know, having some grammatical errors, etc. That will not be a good thing. So what I'm trying to say, the reliance on these, الاعتماد على كل هذه الأجهزة لابد أن يكون قليلا. طبعا يمكن لنا أن نستخدم هذه التسهيلات متوافرة لنا، وأصبح الأمر سهلا جدا ميسورا، فلا بد لنا ألا نكون معتمدين على هذه التسهيلات يعني أكثر فأكثر. أيوة، نستخدم ونستعمل، ثم لا بد لنا أن نقوم بالترجمة أو بالترجمة الفورية، ويجب لنا أن نقوم بالمقارنة، وهل يمكن لنا أن نستخدم كل الكلمة أو المصطلحات أو التعابير التي يتم استخدامها من قبل المتحدث. You are getting my point. So this is how you do. And this is the task of every day that you have to do. And once you become comfortable, then it is all there in the mind. You can imagine when you started that everything was seemingly very huge. These many words, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. But now you are comfortable with the language, that becomes very small. That is there in the mind. You can easily switch to any language. Whichever language you speak, you are comfortable with. So it is there in the mind. And you have to process your mind more and more, not relying too much on AI tools, etc. Of course, that weakens you. In a very practical term, if I say, you can feel it. You can do the experiment with your own self, right? For example, we have started forgetting. We are not able to recall numbers, as I said. No more, because we are comfortable with the mobile. We can just check it. We can call anyone, right? So in that way, what is happening, if we are precisely away from these gadgets, then we'll start feeling how much weakness we have actually acquired over the period of time. That should not be the case at all, at least this stage, right? So they are the guiding force tools. They may guide you. You can take help, but at the same time, they should not actually corrode your qualities, your skills. So we have to be very mindful at the same time. So I believe if any of you, any questions so far in the mind, وإذا أردتم أن تسألوا أو تطرحوا أي سؤال بالنسبة لأي شيء يتعلق بالترجمة الفورية أو الترجمة، مرحب بكم. So far, anything you would like to make your intervention, تدخلات من قبل أي أحد؟
نعم سيدي، اسمي سلطان. السلام عليكم، أنا من غرب البنجالية. الآن أنا في مرحلة الماجستير بجامعة بردوان. ف you said to us that AI is emerging and developing day by day very rapidly, so rapidly that we couldn't imagine sometimes. But what after that? If it needs after that a prompt engineering. So nowadays there are multiple AI applications which are giving the basic prompts by using natural language or by feeding them natural languages. And if you talk about the code, then in this era, AI is doing basic codings also. And as we are the students of language, we're not from background. We don't have the technical backgrounds like coding or data science. So how could we survive after 5 or 6 years?
Are you done with the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's a very nice question. And I was precisely talking about the same thing. See, without mincing my words, I would say, and to be very honest with all of you, and it is not about something, that you are not feeling. Exactly, you can feel that. If you are asking this question, what will happen after 5 years? So do you mean that should I continue with my study or with language learning or not? Is that the question? Is that the point at the back of mind? I believe so. Let me tell you, see, even to, for example, you have been tasked with making a report, right? To know whether the report is very good or simple, different degrees of the quality of the report. For that, you need to be at that level to understand. So in any way, you cannot say that that skill completely can be replaced by AI. You have to monitor. See, it is at the end of the day, you who okays, who says now this write-up is quite good. So that particular point that whether it is good or not is being determined by you. That is based on the qualities or the skills that you have. So those skills which have been already acquired by you are the determining factor whether the write-up is good or not. So of course you cannot say that you don't need this, and after 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years we are going to need it or not. Of course we'll be needing it. And at the same time, I'm telling you, if the reliance or over reliance on AI tools become more and more with the passage of time, the memory will be at stake that we have
But
experienced actually. Yeah,
but
please go
sorry, sir.
ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. But you are talking about the tuning, fine tuning, and the accuracy. But it requires also the expertise. And as we are students and تخرجت من الجامعة، أستطيع الحصول على فترة internship. We don't have these opportunities in West Bengal, or I don't think it's provided to the language students in India, خصوصا بطلاب اللغة العربية.
Yeah, I think, see, I don't know about this, but as far as I remember, even when we were students, such kind of things were not available. That internship that you are talking about, even at that time, it was not available. If you talk about the scope, whether the scope is there or not, I am saying yes, of course, scope is there. And that scope is also shrinking. But in no way it should dampen your spirit that whether you should learn it or not. At the end of the day, when the reversal will happen, of course, those who know, those who are expert, those who are proficient, those who are comfortable, those who are well versed with these techniques and skills are going to be actually leading the world, right? So just remove this from the mind, whether it will be needed or not. What I'm trying to say that invest yourself as much as possible into learning the techniques. For example, you go to any uh, embassy, right? High commission for that matter. There you will be required. You have to make the report. For example, the Gulf countries, they have different systems. See, where data is easily or data can be shared easily, there you have this. Outside you have this, it's a uh, just free flow. But once you have started working, once you are an employee of certain organization, the organization does have some, the privacy. And based on that privacy and the data leakage, they have, they come to these basic requirements of these skills where you need to perform. You cannot rely. They will be saying that I know many departments where the ChatGPT and Perplexity and other AI tools are completely banned. They cannot be used. If you share something on that platform, and sometimes we are being warned, like for example, what is happening, some trends are happening on different AI tools. Do not share your image, that can be misused. So now you can imagine the kind of information that is being dealt by certain, the organization and the departments, they cannot be shared on AI. They may develop some tools down the line, but that human skills are still required, and with the same intensity, I would say, because every day I encounter it, I see it, I feel it. And when you are not with anything at all, you have to perform. For example, a meeting is happening, right? And uh, you are there, you are facilitating the interpretation. AI cannot do. you have been given certain, things. Immediately you have to do the translation and provide it to the concerned department. You will not be using AI at all. If you have been relying so far, you may be understanding what I'm trying to say on AI. And when you are given this opportunity, or you are given this task that you provide the translation of these 2 pages or 3 pages, let me tell you, you will not be able to do it at all. Even if you can do it, you have to just again jog your brain, come to that point where you can think comfortably of the text, then you will be able to do the translation. So what I'm trying to say that you cannot keep yourself away from acquiring this skill in the best way possible. You have to do that. And of course, the prospects are there. Once you are into the market, into the domain, once you start working, of course, there are others who are already working. So they can tell you, even I can tell you based on my experience, it is very much needed. All right.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. You just have enlightened the significance of confidentiality and other things. And with that hope, we remain on our track and struggling throughout our academic journey. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome. Anyone else?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Hello, sir. I am a Bachelor of Commerce student, a last year degree student. So I have attempted this for translation multiple times, and I have tried it for a competition, for a local competition at College Fest. But then during this translation, I have met with the problem that even though I understand the video from Arabic to English, I understand the video, I couldn't say it in English as fast as the video. I kind of feel the difficulty in following up with what I saw. Like I couldn't just say everything. I feel like there's like a memory problem. Even when I write it down, I just don't get the fluency and smoothness while translating. So how do I overcome this?
Exactly the point that I was trying to make throughout the session. See, the first part that you spoke of, you were watching the video and it was in Arabic, and you were not able to say or translate or interpret into English as fast as the speaker was, right?
Yes.
See, this actually, comes under the nuances of the interpretation. What do you do? As I said, not everything can be said, spoken, okay, or used while doing the interpretation or while doing the translation, the verbal translation. It is not humanly possible. So come out of this, impression that you are not able to do it. You don't have to do that, and that is not humanly possible. Having said that, the nuances that I was talking about, when you do the interpretation, for example, I said, somebody speaks up, somebody stands up, then starts speaking from a paper that is already, having the prepared speech. And the speaker, for example, if I talk about the parliament, the speaker is given certain time, right? 3 minutes. If you follow the proceedings, the chair will say that you have 3 minutes. Start now your speech. He will be very fast because he wants to cover each and everything to the extent possible. So when it happens, somebody is there doing the interpretation, not possible at all that the interpreter will be able to match with the speed of the speaker. Here comes the role of the nuances that I was talking about, that you have to learn what is to be omitted, what is to be avoided, and the gist or the message has to be conveyed. So whatever speed it is, you were watching the video, you must have got the message. You must have understood what exactly the video is talking about, right? So in that way, you can convey. But in all the circumstances, you will never be able to do or translate each and everything which is being spoken by the speaker. That said, what you have to do, of course, you have to speak more and more both languages. Try to, for example, last time I said, you see, there is an economic development. For example, 2030 vision of the country, 5 trillion economy, so to say. So try to speak about the economy. So under this, you will feel that you will be using the relevant terms. And it is not one time. You have to do, as I said, every day you have to do it for some time. Either you can speak to yourself, or either you can, choose particular topic and you can speak on that topic to yourself. You can also record it, then you can hear it. The idea is that you have to be comfortable. You have to be, speaking fluently with the speed. The speed is required, especially when it comes to doing the interpretation. You have to be very fast, right? Because you can never imagine that you can only see the list of these speakers. You can see the faces of the speaker. They go to the podium, they go to the stage, and the moment they speak, then only you know what kind of a speaker he or she is. So you have to deal with that speed, doing the interpretation. So that comes when you speak more and more, right? It is the requirement of every day, the practice that you do. Then only it will be possible. And I always say, and I always lay emphasis on this particular point, that you see, we have got the cricket team. They practice each and every day. Then on a fine day, particularly, they go to the field and they perform on the pitch. Likewise, in the same manner, we cannot think of ourselves being, very fluent in the language. We may think, we may imagine, and we have the validation from some people that we are very fluent, but it is not that actually. In actuality, you have to practice, you have to speak each and every day. And a lot depends on your mood as well. That I said I'll be talking about, sometime later. When you perform this particular task of interpretation, a lot depends on your mood. How is your mood? And when you particularly professionally are into this domain and field, you have to be very careful what you eat, right? You can't have citrus before going to the booth, right? You can't have anything cold before going to the booth. That will affect your voice. You can't have so much of, non-veg. That will affect your memory. It will create lethargy. This is what we are being taught actually. And those who are particularly into this profession. So a lot of nuances, these are parts of the nuances. So the solution lies into practicing it more and more every day. Whenever you get the opportunity, you are in the learning phase, do it every day, talk to yourself. You have got all, the facilities of internet, chat GPTs, etc. Talk to it, chat GPT. Even if you talk to chat GPT in English, it will respond you in English. In Arabic, it will respond you in Arabic. So things are there, but ultimately you have to perform. And here comes the importance of the human and artificial. So both are actually, they cannot be pitched together. Hope it answers the question.
Dear audience participants, we have option for some more questions. Inshallah, by 9:15 we have to conclude the session. So if you have any other questions, you can, inshallah.
There are some other aspects. Actually, I wanted participation from the audience. If no more question is there, then, there is, for example, both of you ask about the first one who asked about AI. See, I'll tell you, there are many examples where the interpreter or translator said something or translated in a way that was actually out of the context. For example, there is a very famous example I'm able to recall in the context of Russia when there was a visit from the US. Then Russian, they have particular expressions. We will bury you, right? It means that we will outlast you. Then the translator who was there, he literally translated it that will bury you, which means will destroy you. So knowing about, the characteristics of the language, the culture of the country where that language is primarily being spoken is very, very necessary. So this is another aspect. You have to be, be well versed with the nuances, with different usages of the language, right? We have certain, expressions in Arabic that cannot be translated as it is in English for that matter. And we have, when I do interpretation uh, from English to Arabic or vice versa, we are too much into the habit of, bringing and using correct expressions. We there is a very, least possibility of making any mistake. They have, if one Arabic speaker is there, he or she will be using a lot of, epithets, adjectives. So once you do the interpretation in English, you have to understand the characteristic of the language. And of course, I know all of you must be knowing about this. It's not a very big point. That can be what I'm trying to say. They can be curtailed. They have Ma'al al-Wazir, Sa'adat al-Safir, long epithets. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ayyuha as-sada wa sayyidat. أيها الضيوف الأكارم المشاركين والوفود المتميزة المشاركة في هذا المؤتمر. أعمال المؤتمر مداولات مكثفة، مخرجات ونتائج مثمرة بناءة. So these are the expressions that are there. But when you are doing interpretation in English, you have to be precise, right? Because the next time from the next line, the speaker will be very faster. So you have to keep each and everything in the mind. 2 or 3 or 4 adjectives have been used in a row. You don't have to translate, or you don't have to use each and every, the alternative of adjective in the target language. No, you don't have to be. You have to work with the brevity, right? So, ajhiza, aliyat, adawat, this is how they use, but you have to be very brief when you do. But when it comes to the translation, in translation, you don't have to do that. So that's the basic difference, the distinction that has to be made between the interpretation exercise and the translation exercise. In translation, you can do, that is called verbatim, word-to-word translation, right? And in that, you can only see how good does it sound or not. That is based on the choice that you have, and that is something that is, the determining factor whether you are a good translator or not. A lot actually depend on your choice of the expression, choice of the words, choice of the adjectives, the construction of the sentences, etc. So these are the basic differences between both of the exercises, interpretation at one hand and the translation on the other, right? Arab speaker will always be faster, will always be. That is how it has been so far. We had this summit, whatever happened in Qatar, then Qimma Khalijiya, you just listen to them, the way they speak. They are so fast. They have different expressions for, denouncing something. Denouncing something. Nudinu, wanastankiru, wanashib. Yes?
Sir, there is a last but not the least, sir, a question, sir.
Yeah, please
Sir,
go ahead.
whenever I view on YouTube or social media or like videos, that there are interpreters with the diplomats and the political personalities. So when they interpret them directly مباشرة, فأنا أشعر I feel desirable to be some kind of person. So how would we get this opportunity and start our journey to be an interpreter at a very beginning level, and how could we achieve the expertise and خصوصا الخبرة العملية?
Okay, all right. See, most of the times when conferences or on a country level, when the conferences or the meeting happens, as you said, invariably there will be interpreters. We have seen many videos of a US presidents where the interpreters are sitting just behind them on the chair. Sometimes with our prime minister, there is a lady from Punjab. She was here in the parliament. Now she is doing interpretation. See, it is where you need to understand. For example, in the context of AI, what we have to do after 4 to 5 years. See, these are the places I was talking about. The places when you start working, AI is not there at all. They can never rely on that. They already keep these things aside. So here comes your role as a human. Now you wishing to see yourself as interpreter. As I said, there are three primary forms of interpretation. That is not the translation exercise. Actually, it is intermingled in terms of a usage, but it is the consecutive interpretation. When you see the interpreters sitting behind the the dignitaries and heads of the states, they actually do the consecutive interpretation. In that, you are also taught the shorthand, right?
Yes, sir.
For
Yes.
example, yes. For example, a speaker speaks for 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes. Of course, humanly not possible that you will be able to write each and everything. And here comes the natural choice as well, that you need to have very strong memory. You are able to recall what was spoken. So that apart, you need to write in a way that you are able to understand when you speak that particular thing, right? The whole speech, 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes. So that is the consecutive interpretation. That comes after simultaneous interpretation, which is more challenging in the nature. And your question that how should we and how can we see, degrees are there, the certificates are there, whether you do diploma or certificate or that you do PhD, you complete your PhD. After all, it all actually depends on the kind of practice that you do and the time that you devote to your speaking skill. The prerequisite is that you need to be proficient in both the languages, Arabic and English. Speak independently Arabic, and same goes with the English. At a time when you realize that, yes, of course, you are able to express yourself in the best way possible, and people understand, you are making sense, your sentences are comprehensive, then, of course, you can aspire for that. And these are the things which are required, of course. Uh, uh, Keep on watching such videos and try to also have focus on the contents of the speech, right? If they talk about war, if they talk about bilateral relations, multilateral relations, they're talking about negotiations, they're talking about the settlement of issues, right? These are the different domains. You need to be diving deep into all these. In whatever, see, uh, wherever you are sitting, you are able to ask the question from there. Once you see these faces, big dignitaries, heads of these states, you tend to forget. People sometimes forget to say good morning in the place of a good evening. I have seen examples. So this is how. So with everyday practice, you need to practice more and more. You need to make sure that you are comfortable uh, in both the languages, target and source language. Then comes the part of doing translation or interpretation. Then, as I said, there are different nuances that you need to learn. And once those nuances are clear in your mind, of course, you can go ahead and you will be able to perform in quite satisfying manner. Okay.
Sir, I got my answer, sir. Thank you. Thanks a
Inshallah,
lot.
inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. My name
Walaikum
is
assalam.
Asghar Ghazi. I am from West Bengal. So my question is, ma'am, sir, sorry. I would like to say, could you say good translator books for advance?
See, of course, in our time, we were struggling to find the books that can teach us. But with my experience, I would tell you, see, don't rely on any particular book, even if the books are available. They are now available in abundance, I would say, but they are not going to help you. What you have to do, you have to have a very dynamic approach, right? As I said, make a categorization of the topics, economy, defense, political, social, 5 to 6 or 7. Clearly write them in your diary, notebook, right? And then prepare a speech which is relevant to, for example, agriculture. MSP is being discussed. Different weathers are being discussed. Different seasons are being discussed. Different crops are being discussed. The irrigation, the plantation, the seeds, the fertilization, etc. These are the relevant terms. So you need to be comfortable with these terms, right? Not every book is going to have these. Now with this, thanks to the technology, AI and internet, you have everything. What you need to do is to have patience. Don't be, as I said, don't use them. Don't use many sources and resources for one particular thing. Just try to get stuck with one or two, and then you do it for at least 3 to 6 months. Then you get back to your persona as when you started, who were you, and now where have you reached, right? 7 topics, write them clearly in the notebook, prepare them in both Arabic and English, try to speak on that particular topic. Economic فيه مستجدات أو تطورات اقتصادية، فحاول أن تتحدث مع نفسك حول نفس الموضوع أو حول الموضوع المحدد. حاول أن تتحدث مع نفسك. هناك نقاط مختلفة يمكن أن تتطرق إليها عندما تتحدث مع نفسك، فيجب أن تكون مرتاحا أولا مع نفسك. أنت تتحدث مع نفسك وتتطرق إلى موضوع خاص والذي هنا مكتوب في كراستك، ثم تتحدث وتتطرق إلى النقاط المختلفة، فيمكن لك أن تشوف وترى يعني مع مضي الوقت تكون مرتاحا مع كلتا اللغتين، اللغة العربية واللغة الإنجليزية. هناك مصطلحات وتعابير مختلفة وكلمات مختلفة يمكن أن يتم استخدامها من قبلكم. فهكذا تجهز نفسك، فهكذا تطور
Inshallah.
نفسك.
Thank you so
Uh,
much, sir.
thank you so much for the wonderful session. As we are running out of the time, we understand that the audience participants has a lot of questions, and we have to gain a lot of knowledge from the Dr. Azim Anwar Khan. Inshallah, we will be hosting in future other sessions separately on interpretation, and we will be with him to gain experience from him, what he learned from his experience. Let's learn, inshallah, in future. We will continue, we will strive towards the learning, inshallah. So, yeah, thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session. Thanks again on behalf of the Uyoon Academy, MES College, Calicut University, and Sulamusalam College, and the students who participated here. So, to thank officially and conclude the session, I would like to invite Rasha Hanan, a PG student from MES Mumbai, to conclude the session. Thank you.
الحمد لله، الصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، أما بعد. فيا أيها الحضار الكرام والسادة الأجلاء والأصدقاء الأعزاء، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إنه لمن الدواعي سروري واقتباتي أن أخاطبكم أمامكم في هذه المناسبة المباركة لأعبر عن جزيل الشكر والعرفان لضيفنا الكريم الفاضل الدكتور عزيم أنور خان. كما أشكر أيضا المتحدث في الكلمة الترحيبية الأستاذ في صديق، وكذلك أتقدم بخالص الشكر والتقدير لجميع الحضور الكرام من أساتذة وباحثين وطلاب، متمنيا للجميع يوما سعيدا مباركا. On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guest, Dr. Azim Anwar Khan, Deputy Director, Rajya Sabha, Secretariat, Parliament of India, for his valuable presence and inspiring words. I also wish to thank Mr. P.S. Siddiq from Al Uyoon Academy for his warm words of welcome. I also take this opportunity to sincerely thank all the distinguished professors, researchers, and students who have joined us and enriched this summit with their presence. Your contributions and participation have made this event truly eventful or truly meaningful. And thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. شكرا جزيلا.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. ليلة سعيدة للجميع.